Okay. So I'm back with unexpected part 3. I was receiving a lot of information and comments, a lot of feedback in the comments about how I was mostly talking about PPP checks, PPP benefits during the COVID pandemic, and I didn't talk about stimulus. And so here is yet another opportunity for me to acknowledge to you all a point of privilege. This time it's not just political privilege, it's also economic advantage. See, most of the people that I'm around, we're talking most about needing PPP relief. They are business owners. They are people struggling to make sure they could pay payroll during the pandemic. I was one of them. And so that was top of mind. And in that being top of mind, I had a major blind spot in acknowledging what many of you all talked about in the stimulus checks or stimmies or Trump checks, or what it's actually called economic impact payments. And so it was further confirmed. I was on the plane and coming back from a speaking engagement. Shout out to my brother Leonard. So first I got gathered by my good brother Wes Bellamy, and then by my brother Leonard. He had the Mental Wealth Expo on Saturday, and when I was coming back home, I was listening to a song I love. It's J. Cole and Lil Dark. And Lil Dark has a bar where he says, "See how you gonna joke about stimulus, but they really had came in the clutch."
See how you gonna joke about stimulus, but they really had came in the clutch.
And it was a confirmation to me that I needed to do a third part. So, March of 2020, there is a bill passed in Congress. It's called the CARES Act. In order for the president to do anything like this, of this magnitude, a bill has to be passed in Congress. Congress, made up of 2 chambers, the House and the Senate, passes those 2 chambers, goes to Donald Trump for signature. It's called the CARES Act. The CARES Act authorized $1,200 for every income tax filer. That means you had to pay your taxes, and a $500 payment for each child. Again, that's through the CARES Act. That was in March of 2020. The total amount of those payments was $271,521,557,000. Then in December of 2020, right? In December of 2020, there was a second stimulus that needed to be passed by Congress. This is the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. You will hear often, I'm going to give you a quick lesson. There's an appropriation bill process and there's an authorization bill process. This, in order to expedite these payments, went through the appropriations process in December. So that was a $600 income tax or per income tax filer and a $600 per child payment. Again, that was through the Consolidated Appropriations Act. This amount was $141,471,821,000. Now, fast forward to Donald Trump. He had already lost the election by December 2020 because, again, elections in November 2020. Joe Biden is then sworn in with our dear Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. President Biden, signed another bill into law. This was March of 2021. That bill was called the American Rescue Plan. Had to be through an act of Congress. So the March 2021 American Rescue Plan Act was passed by the 2 majority chambers, that is the Democratic majority in the House and the Democratic majority in the Senate. That is March of 2021. So, March 2021, American Rescue Plan Act is passed. Joe Biden signs that bill into law, but he doesn't sign his name on the checks. More on signing the names on the checks later. $1,400 income tax per income tax filer payment, $1,400 payment per income tax filer, and a $1,400 payment per child. So that's why you heard a lot of folks talking about the child credit, people getting credit for payments for children because there was a larger payment. Double the size, more than double the size of the prior 2 stimulus checks from under Donald Trump's administration. So that total, $401,511,524,000. So the moral of the story is there were 3 stimulus checks. Trump, Biden. Biden's amount was significantly more than both of Trump's payments. Not combined, but each of them separate. I don't want anybody to say I'm saying something wrong or saying something crazy or trying to be pro-Biden to this. I'm just pro-facts, okay? Do want to hit on the Trump signature piece. I would like for somebody to send me a Trump check with a signature. I saw it online. I've never seen one because in reading on the pandemicoversight.gov, I saw that most of these Trump checks, and definitely the Biden checks where he didn't put his signature, were direct deposited or they were issued on a bank card. So I'd love to see this check that y'all are talking about with Donald Trump's signature on it, besides the image that was floating around the internet, okay? Hopefully that doesn't feel like talking down to anybody. I'm not. I did want to acknowledge my major blind spot and apologize, and I hope this information was helpful. If you still need relief, make sure you reach out to your member of Congress. You can do that by calling 202-224-3121. That is the Capitol Hill operator. They will connect you to your member. I suggest you looking up who represents you. You can type in my member of Congress by zip code, figure out who represents you, and let them know what kind of relief you need. I want to hear about it too. So let me know in the comments what's going on. I just want to know. I want to make sure that I'm never that disconnected from y'all again.